There are two rules to 2-point perspective. Does anybody remember the first rule? What do we start with whenever we start with perspective?
A dot.
Which corner? The closest. And what kind of line is a corner?
A line.
And so the first rule is all vertical lines go where?
Horizontally.
Vertically. Please, you guys, hey, look at me, Anya. Please do not say words out of your mouth unless they are intentional and accurate.
Okay.
You're going to confuse everyone in this room. This is serious time. Okay? Not play time. All vertical lines go straight up and down. That means that you will never ever have a crooked vertical line. We're not doing diagonals until we get to roofs, but we will get to diagonal lines. Who remembers the second rule? So the first rule has to do with vertical lines. The second rule has to do with horizontal lines. Does anybody remember where the horizontal lines go? Christian?
To the vanishing points.
Yes. All horizontal lines go to a vanishing point. Okay, so this is what I want you guys to do right now. These are the two rules of perspective. Can you guys read that okay? I want you to flip all this over. And what I want you to do is I want you to write those rules on your paper. So you're going to put 2-point perspective. You have to abbreviate, that's fine. And rule number 1 is all vertical lines go where? Straight up and down. And rule number 2 is all horizontal lines go where? All horizontal lines go to a vanishing point. Okay, go ahead and write that on your paper. Okay, now, while you guys are following what I'm doing, it's going to make more sense than when you're alone doing it. Does that make sense? If you guys are lost and confused when you're doing your own drawings, all you need to remember are these two rules. Okay? I'm about to show you the two rules in reality. Now, let me move my paper. I need everybody's eyes up here. Okay? Right now, I've got this box at my viewpoint is my camera, right? Everybody see my hand is the camera. That camera is looking straight at the side of this. And I can tell because I cannot see the top and I cannot see the bottom. Can anybody see the bottom of my box? If I start to move it up here, notice how you can see the bottom of my box. Everybody see that? Okay? So that tells me that right in this range, from like this line, no, because I can see the bottom, right here, it's sitting right on the Earth's surface right here. This is the horizon line. So anywhere I go below this area, I am on Earth. Everybody feeling me? Okay? You can have buildings above Earth, but they would either be floating in the sky, which does not happen in our realm, okay? Or it would be a hill or a mountain top that it's on. Because hills are not the horizon. Hills and mountains come out of the horizon line. Does that make sense? Kind of? Okay? So, when I'm looking at this box, what do you need?
Can I borrow it?
Yeah. I'm looking at the different parts of this box. I've got the floor, the floor, I guess. We've got walls. These walls are all flat. And then we've got diagonal walls, which we're gonna, are a ceiling that are at a diagonal, okay? The top is a little bit odd because it comes to a point, okay? So today we're gonna learn a little bit about that. Everybody following me? Okay. So this is going to be our goal. So you can tell what part of a, we'll talk about more of that later. Okay. So what we're gonna do is when we start out with perspective, let me get this where we can all see it. Now, why the green paper today? The green paper is because if any of you want to do a vertical view of your final project, which I haven't even given you yet, then what you want to do is not put the vanishing points on the side. You want to extend them outward. Okay? You're going to see today why that's important. The closer your vanishing points get, the more fisheye your world looks. Everybody following me? So for today, all this is us practicing for our finals. Somewhere near the middle of your page, you can guesstimate, we're going to use our ruler to get a straight across edge. And I'm not going to use the green edges. You guys, did you use a level to tape down the green edges? I don't believe you did. So when my drawing is not going to be on the green edges, I'm going to be checking the edges. So I'm making sure that this dash is lined up with the 15 dash. That is a straight across. I'm going to go ahead and get my horizon line right through both pages. Okay? So somewhere in the middle of my paper, I am going to line up my ruler with the white paper. Okay? Because the white paper is where my drawing is going. But I'm going to extend my horizon line outside of my white paper to the green paper. Is everybody seeing me? It is right back there, to the left of the couch. Okay. Now, for a vanishing point, remember, do we want a large vanishing point or a really, really, really small vanishing point? If you want to do it the easiest way, just do a little dash. But if you like a dot, you can do a dot. Okay? Now, it's hard to kind of see mine from so far away, but they're both there. The other thing that I would like to encourage you to do when you're drawing with pencil right now is we're going to have a lot of erasing. Everybody, if you didn't put your eraser cap onto your pencil, go ahead and do that. Because we are going to do a lot of erasing. And what we're going to do today is we're going to do a 3-story house that looks something like this. Okay? So this box right here, this is a 1-story little hut. We're going to make it into a 3-story kind of a mansion. All right? But what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called an exploded view. Okay? So imagine this is what drafters do. When they're drafting a multi-story building, they explode each floor so you can see them separately. Okay? So what we're going to do today is we've got a nice rectangle-y shape. I'm going to begin by just somewhere in the middle, I'm going to line up the edge of my ruler with the bottom of the paper. Everybody watch this. Everybody watch. Watching right now. So I've got my edge kind of in the middle of the paper. I'm going to get like a 2-inch line. So I went from the 8 to the 10. I'm going to go from the 11 to the 13, or maybe a little bit lower for that one. And then I'm going to go to like whatever. I'm going to get around about a 2-inch line. 3 of them. Okay? So I've got a gap right here. I've got a gap right here. And another one here. So I've got 3 vertical lines. And what we're going to be doing right now is we're going to be drawing a 3-story version of this house. We're going to have the top floor here, the middle floor here, and the bottom floor down here. Everybody understanding what's going on? Okay. Now, we started with the first closest vertical line. So this front corner, everybody look right here. This is the line that we started with. That's this vertical line and each of these vertical lines. Shoot, let's lower this one a little bit. I'm gonna make this one a little bit smaller. I'm gonna give myself a little bit more room at the top for the ceiling. My bad. My bad, kids. My bad. Make these slightly smaller. Okay. Ooh, if we have time today, we'll do a pool. How exciting. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now, you guys, everybody's looking right here. Is everybody ready to go? Everyone's got their 3 vertical lines going? Okay, go ahead and do that now. But who knows what the next step is? What do we do once we have our vertical lines? What goes to the vanishing point? Good. Now everybody look right here at this box if you're finished. We've got a horizontal line going to the right vanishing point over here. We have a horizontal line going to the left. You will do the same thing for the top of each wall. Okay? Just pretend like we're doing this portion of the roof though. We're not doing the roof. Okay? We'll add the roof on later. Everybody see that kind of? So what we're going to do, we're going to do this all in one fell swoop. Yes. Yes. But don't get lost. Okay? We're going to take all of the tops and bottoms to the left vanishing point, and then we're going to take all the tops and bottoms. Now, everybody watch me really quickly how quickly I can do this if I pivot for precision. Do you guys remember that? I'm going to do the first one. I'm going to move it down and do the bottom. If I go past, I will carefully, I'll put my pivot back at my vanishing point. I'm going to pivot down to the top of the middle. I'm going to pivot down to the bottom of the middle. Pivot down to the top of the bottom. And I'm going to pivot down to the very bottom of the bottom. Okay? Now, once I'm done doing that, I'm going to double check all of my corners to make sure that they're accurate. Do you guys see this one corner that I went too far? So I'm just going to clean it up. Everybody do that on the left side now. You're going to take the top and bottom of each wall to the vanishing point. Now it's very normal, especially as these rulers get older and dirtier, it's very normal to have dirt and gunk on your paper. Do not let that bother you, because anytime we do perspective, we always end up tracing it onto a different paper. Perspective, when you're doing it not on a computer, it has so many eraser marks that you would never use your initial drawing as a finished draft. It would always be a rough draft. So what we're doing right now is we're getting the left sides of all of our walls going to the left vanishing point. Now, do you guys know what's important next? Is the right side. That's what's coming up. But I want to show you a trick, so I'm going to wait for you guys. You good? Now, right now, while you've got all of these lines going to the vanishing point, go and look at your vanishing point and ask yourself, am I being super accurate? Do all of those 6 lines look like they're hitting the vanishing point at the exact same mark? Right there. Now, before you do the other side, I want to give you guys a little piece of wisdom here. Okay? Right now, 2 lines intersecting at the top and bottoms is not a big deal. But as soon as you grab that 3rd one, I would pivot at the area where those 2 lines intersect. See how instead of putting my pencil on the right vanishing point, I'm putting my pencil on that edge. Okay? Once I get it, I'll get it. I go here first to make sure that I have perfect edges. I'm gonna get my head right on top so I can really see the do you guys see how these rulers are really thick? So you want to get your head right on top of it to make sure that it's truly hitting that vanishing point. And I'm going to go ahead and take the right side to the right vanishing point. Yes.
Could I use the restroom now?
Yes. So I've got 6 walls going to infinity and beyond. And just so you know, our goal today is to learn how to do roofs and doors and windows. And we're going to talk about how to make it look proportionate. Good job. Yeah, that looks nice and thick. That's optimal. So the next step, do you want to know what it is? It's to strain it in those baggies into a new clean bucket. Those milking baggies, they look like net bags. You gotta, it's like a real workout. Good luck. Good luck. It's really gross and satisfying also. Yes, that's the one. I would wash it out if it looks disgusting just to be sure. Okay. Who's done with all these walls? Getting close? Okay, so if you're not quite there, everybody go ahead and take a pause and look up here. Notice how one side of this building is a little bit shorter than the other side, okay? We're gonna do that now because I'm all about saving time. Everybody look right here. If I line up my ruler, let's say I'm gonna make this side about this big. I'm lining it up with the edge of my paper. You guys can't see it. Here, oh, you can't see it. Okay. Oh, did I zoom in way too much? I did. Okay. Oh dear. So let's say I want to put it here. I'm going on the 13 and the 5. I'm making sure that that line is lined up with my white paper so that I have a truly vertical line. Okay? And what I'm going to do, everybody's eyes right here, I'm going to cut off all 3 walls all at once. Hey Siri. Does everybody see how I did all 3 walls all at once? And now I'm going to erase the left side. Go ahead and do that now. Make sure that your corners are neat and crisp.
I'm not sure I understand.
Never mind, Siri. Now be careful that you don't erase your vanishing or your horizon line while you're doing this. Now I'm trying to draw this pretty dark so you guys can see it, but it does erase a lot better if you draw lightly. many of you have all of that done? You have the left side finished? Okay. Now, if you guys look at this building, those of you that are finished, notice how the right side is a little bit longer. So the next step, I'm going to line up my ruler. I'm using the 14 and the 4 down here with my white paper. And I can also use the front corner to make sure that those are lined up on my ruler, because my ruler is see-through and the best ruler of all time. Love this ruler. And I'm going to go ahead and cut off the right side of my building. Everybody go ahead and look at this really quickly, even if you're not done with the first step. I'm going to use a vertical line to cut off the longer side of this building. Everybody see that? And then I'm going to erase. You guys can go ahead and do that now. Again, I'm being careful not to accidentally erase my horizon line. You want to keep that. I mean, if you accidentally erase anything, you can just draw it back in. But it does save time to be aware of what you're doing. About to get harder than you can imagine. Just moments. I'm ready. Oof. Mine's gonna be a little bit difficult, but whatever. Are you done with everything? Focus, focus, focus. Now you guys, what part of our buildings are we missing?
All of it?
The tops and bottoms. Now which one of our floors will you not be able to see the top and bottom?
The bottom.
Wrong, it's the middle one. The middle one is the one that is lined up with our eyesight. Now, just realize, you guys, that when we start the more difficult part that's coming up, all of our gaps are a little bit smaller or wider. All of our buildings are a little bit closer or bigger or a different shape. It's not all going to be exactly the same. Okay? But as long as you follow our only 2 rules, you will get success. All vertical lines go straight up and down, and all horizontal lines go to a vanishing point. Now, on the bottom one, can I get everybody's eyes up top really quickly? I want everyone to stop what they're doing and look right here. Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to draw the top of the bottom floor, and what we need is the back corner. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, how do we close it off? Which vanishing point do we go to? The opposite. So I'm going to go ahead and take this corner to the opposite. And then I'm going to take this corner to the opposite. I'm going to line it up nicely, and then where they intersect, that is my back corner. Everybody go ahead and find the back corner of your bottom floor. Make sure your corners are neat and clean. Now here's a little trick, like a little like maybe a problem. Is anybody's top running into the middle floor? If you don't have a very large gap, it might overlap. If it overlaps, you need to use dotted lines on the inside. Good job. That'll tell us that you need x-ray vision to see it. You guys remember how we used dotted lines last class? Okay, now if you guys understood all that, let's go ahead and get the bottom of the top floor. I'm going to take the bottom right corner to the opposite vanishing point. And wherever it intersects, everybody look right here. Everybody look. As soon as I start going through this building, it has to switch to a dotted line. Then when I get out of the building, it can go back to solid. Did everybody see how that just happened right there? If you need x-ray vision, this is important because it'll help you keep track of your lines. Now the good news is it looks like I'm not going to need the dotted line. Hallelujah. That is a tight squeeze right there. So now I got to erase the excess.
That was really fun.
Yeah. It's like a hair's breadth away. Now, in an architectural draft, you guys, like we're doing right now, we're doing it this exploded view of this 3-story building. How you show that is by connecting all of the corners with a special line. So if you look up here, I'm going to line up the left side. Then I'm going to do a dash, dot, dash, dot, dash, dot line. And that is code dash, dot, dash dot line. That tells me that those corners belong together. I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of my 4 corners. Yeah, we can't really see the back corner, thank goodness. Well, you can a little bit. Now, if you're into drawing buildings, you guys, architecture might be for you. Now, there's one area that I need to erase my horizon line. Where do I need to erase my horizon line right now?
That middle square.
In the middle square. I'm going to go ahead and do that because this middle square is made out of materials that are not see-through. Okay? So that means that I'm going to need to erase that horizon line. Now, do you guys know what a pergola is, or like a pergola, or like a deck, or like, what do you call those like round picnic areas with a roof outside?
Oh, near like Goodwill Mansion?
Yeah,
Gazebo.
a gazebo. If you have a gazebo, you might have a structure that is see-through where you can still see the horizon line through it. Okay? But we're doing like this brick house right here. I don't know if you can tell that that's brick, but it looks like it's bricky. So we will not be able to see through. Now, we have been doing a lot here. How many of you feel like you're under control right now? You have 3 boxes that are all lining up. They're all the same size. They're exploded. You can see the bottom of the top floor and the top of the bottom floor. Now, when this explosion happened, the middle box right here kept the floor and ceiling. So this is about to get a little bit more difficult. Are you ready? We're not ready? Two of you are ready? I love it.
Mentally, I'm not ready.
I love two of you being ready.
I am at the area where
I dig it. What time we got here? We got here at 12:30. We got here. Oh, I erased my dotted line. Dear me, dear me. My dot dash line. So you guys, if the middle kept the roof and the floor, we're going to be able to look inside of the bottom layer like a shoebox without a top. Does that make sense, everybody? So what we're going to do, everybody look right up here for a moment. In order to figure out how much of this is wall and how much of it is floor, I have to make some dotted lines going. So I'm going to take this bottom corner to the opposite vanishing point, and because it's inside of there, it's going to be dotted. And on this back one, I'm going to do the same thing. And where those intersect, that is going to be my floor. Everybody seeing my floor right there? Can everybody try to get the floor of their bottom box? The floor goes to the opposite vanishing points. And because we need x-ray vision to see inside of this home, it's got to be a what kind of line? A dotted line, yes, a dashed line, I guess, would be more accurate. Yes. Now, what part of the bottom box are we missing right now? The back what? We have the walls. What are we missing? The back corner. And a corner is a what kind of line? Vertical. It is going to be both dotted and solid. Everybody look right here. So in the back corner, I'm taking the top corner here and I'm lining it up. Hopefully, if I've done a good job, it should be straight up and down, which I mean I've done a basically good job. Here it's going to be dotted, and as soon as it goes here, it will be solid. Okay, because the roof of this is on the middle. So we can see down inside of this box. Everybody following me? So let's get that back corner. It's hard for me to gauge what you guys need or if I'm going too fast. So if you're way far behind, would you please vocalize that? Just say, hold up, Miss Smith.
Hold up, Miss.
All right. Hold up. Now, if you didn't get the insides of the bottom box, it's not the end of the world because we're going to try this again. You can follow along on the top, okay? The top is exactly the same. So all I'm worried about is that all of you right now have 3 finished boxes. Not the inside, but just the outside. So that means you have 2 walls and a floor on the top. The middle section should just have 2 walls. The bottom section should have 2 walls and a top. Okay? If you're along with me, you should also have the inside of the bottom box. How many of you feel like you could do a see-through box on the top by yourself? If you feel like you could do the same thing on the top, go ahead and do that. If you are a little bit confused, I would wait up for me. I'm gonna give some people a little bit more time to catch up, and then I will slowly walk us through making the top box. Now the top box, we need what part of the box? We have the bottom, we have 2 walls. What do we need to find?
The roof.
The roof and?
The wall.
No, the back what?
Corner.
That back corner. Okay, so if you are going onto the top box, you need the roof and the back corner. Brianna, will you let me know when you're ready to do the top of, are you ready?
Yes.
Alright, so to find the roof, we're going to take the top corners to the opposite vanishing points. And they are going to be dotted, for mine at least. Okay? And I'm going to take the left corner to the right vanishing point, the opposite vanishing point. And where those two intersect, I will erase the excess. For me, the entire top was dotted. Erase anything extra that you did not need. Now, when we exploded this house, the middle section kept the floor and roof. So we should be able to look up inside of the top section. Okay? So to get that back corner, I'm going to line up all the corners. Now, what's really interesting, kiddos, is that all my top corners should line up with my bottom corners. Because we're drawing the exact same building. Does that make sense to everybody? My back corner of my top section should line up perfectly with the back corner of my bottom section. So where it is see-through, I will do dotted, and where I can see it, I will do solid. Rosario, you got all this, buddy boy? Nice. Now you guys know what's coming next, don't you?
Here.
That middle box, the hardest of them all, because it will all be dotted lines. If you feel like you're up to the challenge, go ahead and start the middle one. I'm going to wait and take it slow with the slower kids. It's not wrong to be slow. Look at the turtle in the hair. My mom is the turtle. She's one of the slowest people I know, and she gets more done. That's what I meant. She's the turtle. Did I say hair? Who knows? But she's the slow one, but she never stops working. So she gets more done than the rest of my family combined. How many of you are starting to get a little bit confused with all these lines? It's getting a little bit crowded with all these lines. Anyone?
I don't like them.
There's too many lines.
It's too many lines. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the inside. So with the inside of the middle one, it's all going to be dotted lines, and we're going to take them to the opposite vanishing points. Now here's a little cheat. Everybody want a little cheat right now?
Yes.
Everybody look right here. Is anybody taking their vanishing points or their horizontal lines all the way to the vanishing point? A little cheat is that because I know that this back corner is lining up with this back corner, and it should line up with this back corner, when I do this one, I'm only going to take it to that back corner. So I'm going to take my dotted line, and I'm going to make sure that I stop around that back corner mark. I will do the same thing the other direction, and I'm hoping that my math works out. Oops, that's the wrong place. There we go. Alright, right there is where that one goes. I'm going to do the same thing on the top. Take the top right corner to the left vanishing point with a dotted line. And I'm only going to take it to that back corner because I know that I won't need to go past it. Then with a straight up and down vertical line, I should be able to get my back corner lined up.
That's what Grandma is too.
Turn the cellular device off.
Bennett.
Yeah.
Wow, this is insane.
Did you do the whole thing? You're like, I did
I
enough for
tapped
me.
out.
Yeah, elbow high
Potter's
five.
gonna do
Good job.
tomorrow.
Yeah, it's good to leave some for the other kids. Alright, we're about to have a talk about proportions. Don't do what I'm doing. I'm going to show you an example of good and bad proportions. Look here, kids. I'm going to draw the desert. Everybody look up here. This is a cactus in the desert. Everybody see it? It's amazing.
It's insane.
Okay? Back in the back, I've got a horizon line. Somewhere back here is some desert mountains. Does everybody see the desert mountains back there? Let's say that I want to draw more cacti in this scene. Okay? This one is this close to me. If I were to draw another cactus, say I wanted to put a cactus up on top of the mountain range and I drew it this big,
That's a large cactus.
that would be bigger than probably like any skyscraper in New York City. That would be humongous because there's so much distance between me and the cacti and I can see the mountain range. So when you're drawing things, how big you draw them is going to help relate the scale. If I were to see this, I would think that it was maybe a kid playing with some toys because that would never happen in reality. Okay? If instead, you wouldn't even see a cactus that far away, but you might see a smaller cactus farther away. As long as they're getting smaller, the farther away they get. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so things that are close are going to be big, and things that are far are going to be small. So how does that relate to what we are doing? When we decide to draw this front door, we need to make sure that we're thinking about the size and scale of this building. Now notice that the roof on this little bitty miniature building right here, like how many rooms do you think this hut has?
Maybe 3 at most.
I mean, I think there's one. I think this is a studio apartment. Okay? There's like maybe a kitchenette and a hole in the back for you to like poop down. Okay? This has like no space in here. You do not want to share this with a second human. This is super small. How can I tell that this is a super small building?
Because it's small enough to fit in your hand.
Thank you, Anya.
The door
Yes.
is bigger. Like if it was a bigger house, the door would be smaller, but the
Yes.
door looks as big as the room.
So if we were to look at this, we can maybe get 2.5, 3.5, 4. There's 5 doors across. So let's say there's 1.5, 2, 3. It's like right here. It's that big. Does that make sense? Probably from this table to that wall, from that wall to that bookend where the trash can is. That's how big that room is, based on the size of the door. Does that make sense to everybody? It is not a large space that you would want to share with someone. Okay? So, the size of what you draw is going to tell you how big it is. If I draw the door this big, it's going to look like a ginormous cathedral, maybe. Okay? It's going to look like a warehouse or like a Target or something huge. Okay? So, be aware of that when you draw your stuff. For today, I don't really care if it looks like a mini house, like Hagrid's hut, or if it looks like stinking, I don't know, Paradise's grand castles. I don't care. What we're going to do first all today is we're going to learn how to draw a window. Okay? When I'm drawing a window, I need everybody to watch this from start to finish because I can't rewind it, I can't pause it or slow it down. Okay? So what I'm going to do is we're going to do a window on the top right, and we're just going to decide one window, okay? When I'm looking at a window, everybody see this window right here? Yeah. It has 4 sides. It has a top, it has a bottom, a right side, and a left side. Everybody seeing that right there? Kind of out of focus? Yeah. When I do this, there we go. When I do this, all I'm thinking about is the sides. I want to start with how wide my window is going to be. And if I'm looking at the sides, what kind of lines are those? Vertical. And all vertical lines go where? So I'm going to start with how wide my window is. So I'm going to put one window right here. I'm lining up this line with my middle line right here. I can also line it up horizontally with a horizontal line on this glorious see-through ruler. However it makes most sense to you. I'm going to get the left side of this window, then I'm going to move it, and I'm going to get the, right there maybe? Does that look straightish? I'm going to get the right side of this window. Now notice, you guys, if I just closed off these tops where I just randomly drew them, it's going to look crazy. The top and bottom are what kind of lines? Horizontal. And all horizontal lines go where? They go to the vanishing point. So what I'm going to do, everybody look right here. I've got my sides, but to figure out where the top and bottom is, I'm going to go to the one that's closest to me. Which of these 2 lines is closest to me? The left one is closest to me, okay? Because this is the closest corner to me, and everything else is getting farther away. Does that make sense to everybody? So which of these 2 lines is closest to me is the left one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the left top, I'm going to pivot and get it going to the vanishing point, and I'm going to take it there. I'm going to go to the bottom point, take that to the right vanishing point, and close that off. Any extra I have, I will erase. Now look right here, kids. What are windows made out of?
Glass.
Glass. So when I do that, I have to change my dotted line into a solid line where I can see through that window. Do that now. Start with the 2 vertical lines. But
And this is because like this ones and they match.
they don't match up.
And this, and I know why.
I know why. Because you're not going very accurately either here. Your corners look deep. Do you see right there? That corner is actually there, and your corner is there. Those wee bitty little discrepancies. Yes. but just learn a lesson for today. Okay?
And how am I gonna do the windows?
Well, you'll just put vertical here, horizontal there, and then make that solid. Just start following the rules. I want to put yours somewhere safe. Yeah, so let's take that. Let's put it yeah, put the whole board on there and make sure it's real. It goes so good. Woo! Now, is my building a huge building or is it a very small building? How can you tell?
The window's kind of big.
The window's humongous. I'm going with a small building. Why am I sitting over here?
Can you judge it off the windows? What if you just want
Now that's interesting because some windows are humongous. But the type of window that you would find on a home on a third story, this would be humongous. Does that make sense? If this was like a skyscraper shape of a building, then you might have bigger windows.
It would be beautiful if it's just longer. Imagine a wall window.
You could just go to town.
I just live here.
Okay, so sweet little baby birds. We're gonna practice one more window, but this time we're gonna put it on the middle section and we're gonna do 2 windows. We're gonna do 2 skinny windows. Are you ready? I'm gonna show you a different way to do it than starting with the vertical lines. Okay? Whenever I'm doing a row, I actually prefer to start with the horizontal lines. Okay? So what I'm gonna do, everybody's eyes right here. I'm going to get the top of my row of windows. I'm going to put 2 windows in here. I'm going to get the bottom of my row of windows and put that there. I'm going to start closest to me with a straight up and down vertical line. I'm going to get the left side. I'm going to get the right side. Now, the one that's closest, little sweeties, hey, zip it, lippies, you guys are talking way too much. The one that's closest to me should look bigger. Okay? So as they go farther away from me, they should look slightly smaller. I'm actually doing 3. And all of my lines are getting crookeder as I go. Do better than me. Okay? So now I'm going to erase the area in between. And now I have 3 windows. Go ahead and try to get 3 windows. Now, if you're a little bit extra like me, you can go ahead and put in some details on the windows, like the T, the common T. You guys know what I'm talking about?
What?
The window panes, I guess is what they're called. And sometimes on those skinnier windows, you just have a window that might be up or down, you know what I mean? So I'm just going to put in a window. I'm not going to put in, you know, like the sliding glass window on the bottom. That's all I'll put on those ones. How exciting windows, you guys.
I put the paint.
Are we so excited? All right, so what we're going to do right now is I need everyone to look right here, sweet children. I need everyone to look right here. We don't have to do this, but I want you to know how to do this. What I recommend you do is fold these backward so that I can see the white of your paper on the inside. And next time we're just going to leave it in place, okay? And then I would like 1 pile on each table of all of your drawings, okay? If you didn't get 4 windows, it's not the end of the world.
What? She's so pretty.
I did 4. You can have however many you had time for. That's fine.